Did I say 106? Oh my God.
You're thinking
I don't know how
106
that
in
came
part.
out. I know, right? I don't know how that came out. For real.
Hey, we are live.
Good evening, everyone. We want to thank you all for attending and coming into our Black Professional Men's monthly general body meeting. I am one of your hosts, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. And this evening, as we do each month, as we bring to you just our meeting for Black professional men, where we have an agenda of different things that we will be doing, what we'll be covering. But and then our theme and topic for tonight is actually um, it actually is the state of manhood and the voice of the next generation. And we thought that this would be an important topic to kind of bring because we're ending 2021. I mean, we only literally have about 20 some odd days less than 2021. So we wanted to have this discussion at the end of 2021 going into 2022 because we have to understand not only how we're ending this year, but how we move into 2022. So we're going to be have a discussion, and we're going to have a couple of great gentlemen that are going to be talking to us about who we are as men, and then our responsibility to the next generation that's coming up behind us. So as we always do, um, we want to start off with our opening prayer, and then as we go along, we're going to actually go right into our agenda, and we're going to be not here long. We'll be here for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we're going to enjoy the rest of our month, the holidays that are coming up. Enjoy our families, and and, um, and just be grateful and thankful, and go into 2022 strong, moving into 2022 strong. So if we can, I'd just like to, well, if I can do this, and I'll lean on him since he just announced it. I hope he doesn't mind me calling on him. Minister Pastor Troy, if you would open us in a word of prayer.
Oh, amen. Amen. I sure would. Heavenly Father, we thank you in the name of Jesus for this opportunity to praise and to worship you, Father. And Father, for this conversation, the state of manhood, you created man in your own image, in your own likeness, Father. So therefore, that alone requires a certain level of attention, but it also shows the level of importance it is for us to acknowledge this and to be diligent in the work that we're doing individually and the work that we can do collectively. Father, anoint this conversation, and even if it's just one person that hear it and their life has changed for the better, that's one person that is saved and their life will be better. Father, I thank you for each and every man that's here tonight. I ask that you will bless everything that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Um, Amen. We'll start off. I'll start off by just giving everyone, as we usually do, just to give you all some background information on who we are as Black professional men. And Black Professional Men Incorporated is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based here in Baltimore, Maryland. BPM was established in 1991 by a group of men that wanted to see men in our city do better, be better. So they took on the challenge that was given to them to be able to do. And what we do as members is we serve as mentors and as role models for young African American men, primarily in and around the Baltimore metro region. Members are also active in other mentoring programs, conduct speaking engagements across the state, and serve on nonprofit boards aimed at helping develop the African American community. We attempt to instill a sense of pride in our mentees to be strong African American men. We work to make positive changes in their lives, both in school and in the community, and in an effort to prepare them to take advantage of life's opportunities. So that's just a little bit about who we are as Black professional men. And if you'd like to learn more about us, then you can actually you can go to the website www.bpm.org, bpminc.org, and you can see all of the information about us and who we are as we ensure the future of the African American male. And we've been doing that, as I mentioned, since 1991. And this was actually our 30th year anniversary of being of service to in and around the Baltimore area. So we want to acknowledge that and take pride in being an organization open for 30 years. So next, what I'm going to jump to, and our agenda is going to be a little bit out of order. So I hope you all don't mind. I'm going to and I'm gonna speak of him. Then I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then he'll go into speaking on our topic this evening and talking to us a little bit about who he is, what he does as a community partner that we community partner that we have in our spotlight, and that's Mr. Troy Jones. So, Brother Troy, and I'll say Pastor Troy Jones, Minister Troy Jones. Won't you introduce yourself to everyone, and then I'm going to let you do what you do because I know you know how to do it. But I know you have to leave this evening to go conduct your organization's meeting. So we appreciate you coming in and speaking to us. So I want to introduce everyone to Brother Troy Jones. Welcome, Brother Troy.
Amen. Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? Just want to make sure my mic is working. All right. Wonderful. Dr. Leroy, thank you. I am Pastor Troy Jones. When we first met, I was just Troy Jones. But this year, so many things have happened, and the work that we're doing, just so many changes. So, yeah, my official title now is Pastor Troy Jones. And so, what do I do? Oh my gosh, man, it's incredible. So, the first thing I realized that I needed to do is coming out of an abusive relationship, not knowing that it was an abusive relationship. There wasn't a place for that I knew of for men, adult men, heterosexual men, to go to deal with just wanting to be a better man, right? And so I just started thinking of the work that I've done in the community. I'm a therapist, a integrative mental health counselor. So I just took my skills and created a curriculum. In the process, created a nonprofit 108 community organization, which is a nonprofit organization geared towards helping men 18 and over. And then we offer this men's group that I created, this curriculum men's group. We launched it February 12th, 2014, and we've been meeting every week since that time. And Dr. Leroy, you've attended a few sessions. You've come to a couple of events that we've had, and it's been extremely impactful because I don't just target. I target men. Period. All you gotta do is show up and be a man. And we talk about various issues pertaining to that and how you can be healthy. You know what you can do, and it's us teaching us. Although it's curriculum based, because learning to be healthy is a learned skill. You just don't happen to fall into it. You know, it can be taught. And so a lot of the members are doing great. I'm a pastor, you know, and so the Lord has always been my first passion. It's how I live my life. It's how I give back to the community. It's not something I don't take the word of God and beat it over people's head, but I do actively live out what I read. I practice it. And so that has helped me tremendously. I'm an author. I'm a new dad. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old. So that's real fun, right? That right there, man. I'm sorry. Every time I say that, I got to pause for a second because it's, that just being a good dad. See, like I'm not just a dad. I'm a good dad, right? I'm a phenomenal husband, right? And I'm not just saying that because, I mean, I can call her in here, she'll validate it, right? It's just, it's just something about that's all who I am and what I do, to answer your question initially, Dr. Leroy. You're on mute. You're on mute.
I forgot myself myself that I was on mute. I want you to talk this evening. You just mentioned about you being a new dad, and our topic of discussion this evening is the state of manhood and the voice of the next generation. You have two kids. How important is that for you, one as a man? And I know you know how to talk about manhood, and how important, how does that relate to you giving voice to not only your kids but other young men that will be coming along behind us, and that next generation of dads to be and everything like that?
Wow. Dr. Leroy, that's a really good question. And I believe I can serve as an ambassador to answer this question, right? Because I'm not just a new dad. I have three other children, right? My oldest son is 25 years old. My oldest daughter is 21. I have a daughter that's 18, and I have a grandson. Now, why is that important? Because they were products of an abusive relationship. They came out of someone that me, I didn't know my worth. I didn't know my voice. I was afraid to step into that masculinity role because of the negative connotations associated with it. You can't be too much of this. You can't be too much of that. And so they got a father that second guessed himself a lot, that didn't, I was firm to in some areas that I felt real confident in, but in a lot of areas I wasn't. I was trying to figure it out. My dad wasn't always present in my life. My stepdad wasn't always present in my life. So like a lot of men, I picked and choose different role models and try to mimic them to some degree. And so not only did I cause some confusion in my household, if you understand what I'm saying, it was because I was confused to some degree. And it wasn't until, and so now I'm being transparent about this because there are men in that position right now. They're in a marriage that's toxic. They're in a relationship that's toxic. They have children growing up under that toxicity. They themselves are trying to escape and at the same time try to save a child. If you're bleeding and you're bleeding out, how do you save the next generation? Well, you got to stop your bleeding first. You have to re-educate, relearn, re-understand what it is that you're attempting to do and the why behind it. Um, Dr. Leroy, I wanted to live. I wanted to know what life looked like on the other side. Is it impossible? Do you know I have not met up until recent. I have not met one man that could tell me they were in a relationship where they could truly be who they are as men and be accepted. They weren't in relationships with women where that woman felt comfortable. They always felt like every time I would talk about a relationship, I would hear that relationships are tough. Marriages are hard work. Oh my God, you know that? Like, come on, man. If I'm young, why do I want to get into something that's tough and hard? when we're dating, it's not tough, it's not hard. When we courting each other is the easiest thing on the planet. So why, when we get married, does it have to change? So that was confusing to me. So I sought God, and I'm like, okay, Lord, you created marriage, you created relationships. So why is the world saying this? Because brother Dr. Leroy, let me tell you, if we, and I know you guys do this, you've been doing it for 30 years, remove men from the equation. Oh, come on, remove black men from the equation. You have family in disarray. You have young black men that don't know their worth. You have little boys that, are financially illiterate and culturally illiterate. They don't know. And if we can keep them confused, not we, if society can keep them confused, then the black family can never reach its full potential and the strength. And what I decided to do was I needed to fix me. I asked myself a hard question, and I encourage every man, black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. Ask yourself this question: what prevents you? What's inside of you that keeps you from having the best relationship possible? The relationship that God ordained for you to have, set you aside to have. Why do you mess it up? What is it about you? And then start working on that and fixing that. So it was easy for me to point the finger. I did that for a minute. But then I'm like, let me really focus on me, because this woman that you have for me, I don't know who she's going to be. And I did the hard work, Dr. Leroy. I did the work. I worked solely on me, so I could see what the best version of me was. And I got to tell you, I'm loving this version, brother. I'm loving it. So being a dad now is different. I have so much information to share, and not just sitting him down, but living it. I don't have to say anything. They say most people are going to do what you do, not what you say. Your kids are going to follow what you do, not what you say. Well, I'm living a really, really good life in terms of my integrity, in terms of my faithfulness, in terms of my honesty. I can model that for my son. I can walk around with my head up high. I'm not confrontational, though I know how to protect myself and my family. And so all of these things that we need to see as men, I'm able to provide that, not just for my children now, but for my children then. They can see that you may not always start out in the best, but you can change that. You can make some hard decisions and turn that around. So now is extremely important. It's so important to me that it's not just my family that God put me as the overseer of. It's my extended family, especially with social media. It's all these brothers. We've provided this men's support group for over 400 men, Dr. Leroy. Over 400 men have come through this curriculum-based support group. I have an obligation to them, because I can't tell you to do one thing and I'm living a lie. I can't say having a healthy relationship is possible and I'm single and I'm in multiple relationships. Right? You feel me? Maybe someone can, but I can't. I can't lead from that position. I can only lead from the position that I'm authentically living. So that it's extremely important to me to model this to my children, not just the new ones, but the ones that are already here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I love that. Now, how can we, as the Black community, and more specifically the Black men in our community, and I think you do with 108, you all do a good job of this, of showing Black men, like you said, how to do the work, but then also driving into them, understanding what their voice means, and who they are to the community. Can you talk a little bit about that, and how
Right.
important that is, and that community, that connection that you have, that 108 has with the community, and having men to be healthy, men, not just a physical health, but a mental health, and all of those financial health, and all of those other things as well.
Providing it's important for me to really highlight that we've been meeting since 2014 every week. Like a week doesn't go by, and that's where I'm going to be when I leave here, because the first thing we have to do is be consistent. I've been told over and over again, I used to work with men. I did that kind of work before, but there's no money in it. Well, to me, forget the money. There's life in it. There's a man out here who's worthy to be saved, and regardless of the dollar amount that people attach to it. And so you have to show up and let men know that I can love you at your worst. You have to show up and have I talk with men. I love that we talk to young guys, but we have to prepare the older guys to prepare the younger generation. I can't be there for all the young dudes. I got to talk to. I've taught how many 60 and 70-year-old men that I've talked to that had no idea that they were in an abusive relationship. Some men that when they talk about their mom, they had no idea that their mom was abusive to them, or that their dad, but they can identify that their dad was wrong and abusive, but could not identify that their mom or auntie or grandma, it was like whatever the women did in their life was acceptable, because as men we're supposed to tolerate and deal with it. And so I have to speak to them and give an understanding of what abuse looks like. uh, most importantly, I have to be there. I have to be able to show up, and I have to be consistent. I have to be where I say I'm going to be, and be able to love you when you're at your worst. And I'm talking about grown men. And that's why I'm mentioning it, because it's easy to love a child to some degree when they're at their worst. But can you love a grown man, a whole grown man, beard and everything, right? Can you love him when he's at his worst? You know, when when he disclosed to you some of the foul things that he might have done in his life, and not just in the past, what he's currently actively doing. Right? We have to be there. We have to show up, and you have to model. Listen, we're in this day and age where people can see straight through you. They look at your social media, they can backtrack and see what you're really about. I can't be out here in the street saying one thing and then I go viral because I'm doing something different, you know. So we look for that consistency. We look for men. If you're going to say this is what a man is, because especially a Christian man, people wait. They can't wait to get their hands on you to tear you down. Oh, you're a hypocrite. Going to church is a hypocrite. You saying this? Something been going to church. You got the biggest hypocrites there. Wow. Okay. Right. And so, in order to change this paradigm, in order to change that, I don't get into arguments about that. I'm not even going to defend myself. I'm not going to speak ill of you. I'm going to speak because I'm not going to slander you. I'm not going to gossip behind you. Just going to be straight up and honest with you about where I am and who I am. And that's across the board with anyone. And you got to show up. 108, we have several different programs that we offer the community. We just offer. And we love partnering with outside entities because we're not the only one size don't fit all, right? We one size don't fit all. So I have to make sure that, hey, listen, if we don't fit, you know, we got BPM, check them out over there. You know, we have some of our other partners, you know, check them out over there, you know, because it's really just based off of integrity.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, Troy, before you go, I do want to open it up to see if there are other brothers that may have questions for you,
Sure.
or comments and everything like that. And then we can, definitely want to open it up to see if there are any questions. And then if brothers want to have anything else before I have you, I'll kind of just close yourself out and then let you get prepared for your meeting.
Okay.
Cool, because I thought I saw one comment in the chat there
Yeah,
too.
this is Troy Mobley, Matrix Connect Group. Troy, this is a awesome presentation. I remember you from like last year, I believe, when you did a presentation for us.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, I just wanted to thank you for this, and also wanted to ask you a question. Um, when you, I'm assuming this is provided in a group setting.
Yes.
So when you do that, do you sign like any type of contract so that because so that not that it will mean anything from people communicating anything about what goes on during the meetings, but um, is there any type of agreement signed so that whatever stays there will
Uh,
stay there? Whatever is communicated there will stay there.
yes. Now, I'm glad you asked that question because I do it old school. I send out an email and it gives you the rules, and I go over the rules all the time. But I let men know that when you're in this place, um, because it's virtual, we do virtual handshakes. A man's word is based on his word. I got to take you at your word. And if it gets back to me that it's something other than that, you can't be a part of it. I'm sorry. You know, and I think that's one of the first things that we build on is that I can have you sign anything. It doesn't mean anything but your word. I want to hear you say it. I want to hear every man say they agree to these rules. And when they agree to it, that's your verbal contract, right? Because you know, when you meet people, you don't have them sign things, you know, like to hold you to your word or you hold them to their word. You just hope that they're trustworthy, you know. And so our group is based off of that. But yeah, I go every single week. I read through the rules and let the brothers know that this is a safe space, and what's here stays here. The other thing is that I could broadcast it. I could have meetings and put these on Zoom, but I don't. And I do that specifically because it's not meant for the rest of the world. If you want to be a part of it, and go to 108organization.org, go ahead and fill out your registration and join us every Wednesday. That's the way you can be a part of it. Other than that, I don't put it out there for the world to see, because if they wanted you to know, they would let you know.
Awesome, awesome. Because that's critical. Trust aspect, because that's one of the objections men don't share, is because they don't want nobody to know their business.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
The verbal thing is awesome, but I used to do a similar thing in my church, but we actually signed contracts. So just to reinforce what was being discussed. Yeah, awesome.
No, I think that is perfect. If you have to sign, some people sign. And some people don't. I do have in general a confidentiality agreement. Now, if they don't sign it, I don't stop them from coming back. But we hold each other accountable. I do check-ins periodically and just kind of make sure. But it's really based off of the integrity. And that I tell men that if you need to talk about something that happened in a group, just don't use names. Just speak in general, because a lot of good information comes out of these groups that you can use in other areas. And so, when you have men crying, listen, God is going to judge the secrets of our heart, right? And the devil want you to stay in secret. So when I have brothers coming in, confiding and confessing various things, brother, we keep that to our chest. And it's part of the bro code anyway. Like, all right, look, we're going to hold you accountable, right? We're going to have the hard conversation here. But I recommend you fix that. We even have an imaginary, I know as a pastor, I'm not supposed to say it, but we have an imaginary BS button. So if you're talking, I mean, you know how fellas get. You start talking, be like, yo, wait, now hold up, man. Hit the BS button, man. You full of it, whatever. And we hold you accountable right there. But when you leave, it's still all love. And also, once a month, because COVID is lifted up, we meet in Owings Mills at World of Beer, just so guys can get out. I'm not a drinker, but other guys are, and they love it, man. The wings and the beer and the great conversation right there. They really enjoy it. So it's the third Wednesday of every month at World of Beer in Owings Mills. Big shout out to World of Beer for being one of our sponsors. So thank you.
Yeah, that's good. The good stuff. Any other questions? Yeah.
Yes, sir. I just want, Mr. Choi, thank you so very much. And could you mention your website again so I can put it in the chat?
Absolutely. 108organization.org.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
And I've been to those sessions, and whew, it gets deep. And those are the kinds of conversations that we as men, and I tell Troy this all the time, that we as men have to have, and we must have, if we're going to be better as men, and if we're going to understand, one, our place in society, but our place in the family, and the place in who we are, because this next generation of young men, they really honestly don't feel as if they have a voice. They really don't. When you listen to them, they don't. They're like it just, their mindset is just. I listen to some of the conversation. I'm just like, oh my God, what have we done? What have we done to drop the ball, to prepare these young men for, as Troy said, for manhood? Grown men. You got grown men that haven't dealt with issues that they've had since they've been in their 20s or teens and everything like that. So it's important that, that organizations like his that are part of the community are connected to organizations like Black professional men in the community. It's just, it's something that those connections mean so much. So Troy, I thank you again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
and talking to us. And give the information one more time about one where they can
Okay.
connect with you, but then also the meeting dates, the meeting date too.
I sure will. I also want before I go, I want to say a couple of things. Our hashtag is better men create better men, and so please use that, better men create better men. We already know that hurt people, but heal people, right? But better men create better men. So you got to work on yourself first. Last year, we had our first healthy masculinity parade. We're having one this year as well. We're looking forward. We're hoping that, we don't get too many viruses out there because we're looking to go straight down Pennsylvania Avenue all the way to Drew Hill Park this year. I'm real excited about that. And it's promoting healthy masculinity, period, in the statement, unapologetic. All right, healthy masculinity. That's the first Saturday of June. The Saturday before Father's Day, we have our Returning the King to the Throne Father's Day Conference. We're going to be honoring men in the community, honoring men that are like yourself that are out here doing the work, giving a platform for other organizations to talk about what they're doing as it relates to men. We also take, it's the weekend after Father's Day. We have a men's retreat in Denver in the mountains. It's a 5-day retreat. It's a spiritual retreat for men that we hit on up there, man. And we have our little, for all the members that are becoming official members, we have a little ceremonial up there, the exchanging of your ring and your dog tags and such. So, it's we creating a movement, Dr. Leroy. So we got a lot of brothers out here that are interested in that. So we meet every Wednesday. B6 Men's Support Group. We meet every single Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:30. Just go ahead and go to 108organization.org. Click on the B6 link. We're working on the website, so all the information is there, but we're working on the website to modernize it. Someone told me, Mr. Troy, I love you, but your website is old. So it was a millennial that told me that. I'm like, okay, brother, help me out then. Don't just criticize me, help me out. So he said he's gonna help me out. So they're helping me out right now. And we have a lot of fun, guys. Every last person right here is invited every Wednesday. Just drop in, see what's going on. And I do speaking engagements, promoting healthy relationships. My schedule is filling up. We have men from Ghana, Africa, South America that have joined, and so things are really starting to pick up. And I'm super excited what God is having us do. Dr. Leroy, thank you again. All the gentlemen here this evening, thank you for the work that you do. May God continue to bless you and give you the strength, energy, and encouragement to be consistent at the work He's placed in your heart.
Brother Troy, thank you, man. As always, you always bring substance, richness, and just an aura of impactfulness that I appreciate so much. And trust me, fellas, this is the curriculum. If you are in need of this kind of assistance to be able to go through the 108 community is there for you to be able to walk you through what it is that you need to go through, especially this time of year too. This is the hardest season for people to be able to go through. So you have organizations like Black Professional Men, you have organizations like B6 that are there to support you so that you can say that you to understand and know that you're not alone, alone, and that you don't have to be alone through this walk and through this time and through this season and everything like that. And like Troy said, Troy, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna see this again. Would you say healthy men create healthy
Better
men?
men,
So
better men create
better
better
men. I'm
men.
sorry. Yeah, I
Better
love
men
that. I
create
love that.
better
Better
men. Thank
men
you.
create
And for
better
those
men.
of
That
you
is so
that are
true.
wondering what 108 is, in numerology, it's the highest level of consciousness. It represents the highest level of consciousness. So 108, let's raise our consciousness, fellas. And thank you for all those accolades, Dr. Leroy. Listen, you know that you're the man. Anyone that knows you, man, knows your heart, your level of integrity, and your support. And thank you for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you, brother, and have a good meeting tonight and a
All
good
right,
session
thank you.
tonight with the brothers and everything. And
All right, family.
happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that good all that good stuff
Amen.
to
Hey,
you.
hey, listen. Next time, you guys, we're gonna have we're gonna have a men's cookout, Brother Leroy. I'll let you know when that's gonna happen. Of course, it's gonna be when the weather
Okay,
is warmer, but I want you to bring all your guys through, man. Let's just break bread, have a good time. It's a family event, so bring the family, bring the kids. We had our first one last year. We couldn't have it the year before because of COVID, but we had it last year, man. The guys had a great time, but um, make sure that you guys get that invite. So you guys got the official invite from me, but I'll let Brother Leroy know when that date is, and you guys come on out and get some burgers, some wings, and some ribs. You know, let's have a good time. All right, fellas. I love you,
absolutely.
family.
All right,
All
man.
right, peace.
Thanks a lot, brother. Now that was phenomenal. I thank Brother Troy Jones for joining us, and next I had this brother. I've been fortunate, blessed to meet him and come across him recently, and I was just enthralled in what his story first of all, but then his advocacy for youth and young adults. And I'm gonna let him talk about that and tell us a little bit about who he is, what he does, and just the work that he does and the passion that he has for our youth and giving them their voice and giving them a say, but then more specifically about the young men. And he is all the way, as they say, all the way from across the pond. So it's kind of late it's early late for him, if I can say it like that. And I know the brother tired. So I want to bring him on and have him introduce himself and tell us a little bit about who he
Before
is.
we do that, what part
Yeah.
of the agenda are we on right now?
No, it's actually going to the main speaker. I had to switch things up. I'm sorry, Hassan, because Troy had to go. So I switched him with Unisa, and I didn't see that Rashad hadn't got here for the book club. So I switched around a little bit. You got it?
Okay, so all right, okay.
You got it? Okay,
So what's the
cool.
order now?
But we're gonna have the guest speaker, Unisa Kamara. Then we're gonna move down to the the thriving in the pandemic, thriving after the pandemic, the mastermind. We're gonna do that, and then if we have Rashad here by then we'll do the book club. Then we'll move to the committee reports, and then your report at the end. Does that work?
Okay, all right.
Cool, cool. Thanks. So I want to introduce this gentleman. Oh, I'm gonna let him introduce himself and talk to us a little bit about who he is, what he does, and then his impact that he's having with young adults, that he's having with actually business owners as well. Because he's an entrepreneur, he's a TV host, he's a speaker, and a youth advocate. He mentors young people because he has a passion for them. And I'm gonna let him tell his story because his story, in and of itself, is one that will just blow you away. And he supports parents to engage with their children and youth and how important that is. And I want to introduce you all to Brother Unisa, and I hope I'm saying your last name, pronouncing it correctly. Is it Kamara? Kamara? Am I saying that saying that correctly? Kamara.
It's Kamara.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. But I'm gonna have him come up, introduce himself. Well, I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and then go into what he does, and talk a little bit about who he is, what he does, and then his impact with the youth and saving our next generation. Brother Nissa, I turn the mic over to you.
Wow. I appreciate you, Leroy. Thank you for the opportunity. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world, I just want to say thank you for joining us. And I want to say it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Unisa Kamara, and as stated, I am a TV host, 2 shows. I deal with different organizations, radio station, film production companies, and so many other things. I love this topic because our children are the future, and professional Black men acknowledge you. As many of us are aware, our children are killing themselves. They're going in and out of jail. Now, where I'm from, Africa, they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, if the child is not feeling the love, that child will burn the village to gain attention. The state of manhood, our voices. I used to, when I deal with my youths, I put in why. Who hears you? Who hears you? What are you doing to be heard? What does it take to be a man? They say 6 to 18 years old is still a boy. But from the age of 18 to 30, you're becoming a man, you're a young man. And what's the difference? Responsibility and accountability. We have to hold each other, our young men, accountable, and we have to teach them responsibility. Growing up many moons ago, many of us had that support that we needed. After school centers and so forth. But now, there are no more. We need to step up and play our position to guide these young men into something of stature. We need to support them so that way, as we age, they can support us. We need to support them so that way they can support the next generation. Whatever we do in life, it's not going to be an easy task. But with persistence and perseverance, we can achieve anything and everything. As many of you know, as I stated, many of our young men are growing up without our guidance. And a psychologist by the name of Dr. Morin stated that without the proper guidance, they will be stuck in that childhood phase. And when they grow up, they will not have the proper structure to support their own families. And without the proper structure, it will turn to crime. And there's a saying, if boys don't learn, men will never know. If boys don't learn, men won't know. So if you don't learn to take responsibility and accountability at a younger stage, what make you think when you get old, you will take accountability and responsibility? They say the world is a stage that we all play a part in. We all wear different masks. We all build relationships in different ways. I tend to touch up on different aspects of this because, in a way, we are humane. We have responsibility as men. We have the responsibility as men to support our children, our youths. Does it take much of us to play the position that we're supposed to play? If we don't play our position, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, that is, how can we expect them to play a position when they don't know where they're going? They're confused, many of them. Many of them are vulnerable because they're looking for their place in society, just like many of us many moons ago. So if they're so confused and vulnerable and we're not stepping up, who's going to step up? Are we going to point to the next person and wait for them to step up before we step up? We were meant to be leaders. We are leaders. We have that ability, that capability to become leaders. And what is a leader? A leader is someone that is willing to support someone else to become a leader in case they're not there to take their position. Are we training or are we supporting our young men to become the future leaders of tomorrow? What are we doing as a whole? When I was told about this organization, I was reading up on it, I was quite intrigued. I was intrigued for so many reasons. Number one, not just do we align with our objectives, our goals, but because we hear about so many organizations that are making a difference. But when you digest, you look into them, they're telling you they are trying. Corporations coming together will empower us more. We need to come together. I give credit to all the mothers out there. Is it easy to raise a boy? Absolutely, utterly not. But think about something. When the father is not at home, the mother is out working 2 or 3 jobs. What do you think that little boy is doing? That is becoming a teen. I know mothers are strong. I know some mothers that are raising boys, but I also know some mothers that are raising boys that the boys are going astray. We at Kamara Youths support parents to be able to support their children. We at Kamara Youths support boys to become the future entrepreneur. We at Kamara Youths support this young man to become pillars of their communities. We have been running for about 2 years. We have never taken a grant. Everything we do is due to the passion and the belief that we have in our children. As a serial entrepreneur, I believed in buying our businesses. My life changed when I received a phone call. I was about to go on stage. A manager came to me and said, "You have a phone call." I told him, "Hold on. Let me go on stage. When I'm done, I'll talk to the person, call them back." Normally, my manager will walk away. At this point, he stood there looking at me. And the way he looked at me, I knew something was wrong. When I picked up the phone, all I heard was, "He's dead." Who's dead? Your son. Now, I'm sure that is something that no one wants to hear, especially when you're about to go on stage to tell hundreds of people how beautiful the world is, and you receive such a call. How do you face these people? I, deep inside, wanted to dig a hole with my bare hands and just hibernate. I did not want to be around anyone. And come to find out, the person that took my son away was another youth, trying to impress another youth. My son had a party for his girlfriend a week before his own birthday. Calls me up, Dad, I want to have a party for my girl. I said, that's fine. Where do you want to have it? He said, Newark. I said, well, I don't think that's a good idea. But as we're quite aware, sometimes we give in to our children because we raised them a certain way. So me knowing what kind of individual he is, I said, that's fine. We had security and everything. These two youths wanted to get in. Security stopped them and said, do you guys have an invite? They responded, no. My son happened to be walking by. Security stopped them. Do you know these guys? He stopped to have a conversation, asking them the same questions that were asked. Do you guys have an invite? They said, no. He said, unfortunately, guys, I can't let you in. They sat outside, waited for him till after the party. He shot him. Just think about it. As a motivational speaker, I like to let the mind ponder a little bit. I like to make people visualize things. So work with me for a minute. I wish this upon no one. But the funny thing about us human beings is that we think that it will never happen to us until it comes knocking at our door. As parents, some of us do the best we can to raise our children to the best of our ability. So just imagine getting that phone call. Your child has been killed by another youth. How would you feel? The anger that I had towards these youths, one can never understand. That is how Kamara youths came about. We go to jail, we talk to the boys, talk to the young man. That way, when you come home, you have somewhere to go. Kamara youth's home. We feed them. So that way, I don't want ever to be eating and, Leroy sitting there hungry because he don't have the money to buy the food. Think about how he would feel. So we all sit down, the whole team. We eat together as a family. We need to create a comfort zone. We need to teach our boys it's not about being masculine. They have to have a little feminine side to show love and nurture. They have to have that masculine side as well to be able to protect. But most importantly, they have to have that mindset. Many times we expand on the ego, the superego, and the id. Then we also psychologically expand on the mirror neurons. The mirror neurons are basically to replicate what they see. If a child sees someone that they believe in doing well, they want to achieve. they will follow the footsteps. We as men have a responsibility. There's something I call try, T-R-Y. Take responsibility of your action. We have a responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. Or should I say gentlemen? Our youths are crying for help. We need to teach them, support them into becoming a responsible man. Now, this, I look at it as an entrepreneurial platform. They say it's not about teaching a child how to eat or how to feed. How to fish or something of a sort. Opening up a business is something that can be done. We can train them. That's part of our program as well. We train them to plan. We support them in strategizing. And we support them in executing. We give them the ability to put their plans down on paper and moving forward, how they intend to execute. We as men, it's not just to say, well, I'm a man. There comes a lot of responsibility with that. Manhood is not given. Manhood is not a prize. Manhood is a process. And there's a saying, if you give me a boy when they're children, a child, by the age of 7, I'll show what that child can be. If we don't support, I will put emphasis on again. If we don't support our young men, all the hard work that we're doing is going to go astray. Because who is going to carry on? Each and every one of us need to understand that the child that we save today might become that doctor tomorrow, might be the president. The potential that these youths have, it's unlimited. But we need to guide them in polishing that. We need to be the anchor. We need to be the root. We need to be the foundation. You know, just to share a little story, I had a youth that came to me. He said, Mr. Kamara, he said, all I ever asked for was to be somebody. All I'd ever wanted. He said, I was accused of a crime. And I was incarcerated. I never committed a crime. But I was found guilty. Now I'm 17. He said, I don't want to go back to jail. Now, when a youth comes at you and tells you that, what is that an indication of? It's a cry of help. How comfortable are our children or the youths out there to come to us, to come to you and talk to you in that manner? We need to build a relationship. We need to have that rapport with these youths. They feel as though they're not being heard. They feel as though they're not being seen. They feel as though they're being judged. Society is the cruelest playground ever. It's a cruel place because we're too busy judging our children. You see a young man wearing a hoodie, so you assume he's a criminal. He's always wearing that hoodie. How do you know that that's the only thing he has or he has? Would it take much to talk to a youth? When my youths are selling drugs and they see me coming, regardless, they will not make a sale. They will say, there goes Mr. Kamara or Unisa. That's building a rapport. And that is what we need to do to empower our young men. We don't want our young men to grow up to manhood and still behave as a boy because the guidance wasn't there. Each and every one of us, as I stated, has gone through that stage. Each and every one of us have been or seen our friend go astray, but somebody, somewhere, believed in them. Why can't we be there for some young man? Our children need us more than anything else. Society, we cannot blame society. We cannot blame somebody else for what is going on. Everything starts within you. It takes one to start a movement. Not to go off the topic, Martin Luther King started a movement. It took one person. And when people believed in him, they came. My organization, I started it alone, not knowing no one here in the UK. I got the mayor and I have other people getting involved. It takes one. Why can't you be that one? What is stopping you? We as adults keep saying, I'm busy, I have to work, I have to bring in a living, I have to do this. We're always looking for excuses. But all it takes is 15 minutes to talk to a youth, to build a rapport. Again, as I'm coming to an end, I just want us to understand one thing. These young men will one day be in a position where you and I are. These young men, if we don't guide them now, we set them up for failure. It's easy to say I'm a man, but for many, it's hard for them to play the position. Why don't we empower them now before it's too late? Thank you very much.
Whew. Brother, listen, yeah. Woo, that was powerful. I'm going to before I have a question, but I want to open it up to the other brothers if they want to, if they have any questions for you, if they want to have any comments or anything about what you've spoken about. So the floor is open, gentlemen, if you want to ask a question.
Thank you. Thank you for that that's inspiration. And me as a father, it's like you always, when things happen to people, you always say, um, I know how you feel. That's one of the statements you don't want to know how you feel. But that is incredible. And as a result, that was the catalyst to you starting your organization. And so it was positive came out of that negative tragedy to help others, fathers, that they won't go through that. Because if you didn't help those boys out there, they possibly become another statistic and then ruin another father's life forever. So I want to thank you again. And if you could put in the chat your information, website, if you have the website, that'll be great. So when people save this time, they'll have it in their stream. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Everett. I don't know if Shadid, I don't know if you saw or not, but Kendrick was trying to come up. So he may have a question.
He's been promoted to panelist.
Oh, okay. Okay. Kendrick, did you have a question, brother? I don't know if he's there or not.
Oh, can you hear me now? Just more of a comment. I was just wanted to say that, I mean, inspirational. Thank you, King, for sharing your vulnerability, because that's just one of those things that you need your village to continue to move forward. And the question was really around what we've found here in Black professional men is that many hands make light work. And so the question that I had really was, how can we help you? What is it? If there are needs or challenges you have now, I just kind of wanted you to share a goal, a need, or a challenge that maybe we could also have in our minds to pour in any resource to you to overcome that challenge or obtain that goal.
Well, Kenwick, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you, King. The thing is that we do an event on the last Saturday of every month where we have 10 powerful motivational speakers, entrepreneurs, and professionals in their own field, psychologists, doctors, and so forth. We bring these people, and we call them forward thinkers, to support organizations, charities, and businesses that are making an impact. We need more men to come on board. Now, if you look at the stats, how many Black men or Black boys are in jail? Just take a time to think about that. But we want to blame society. My call of action is for us to come together. Kamara Youth is a global organization. Now we're building water pumps in different parts of the world, and nobody's giving us a penny. We are supporting charities around the world. Nobody's giving us a penny. My call of action is for us just to come together, support us so we can support BPM or this organization in Africa called Young Champions. Let's come together. That's my call of action. Kenrick, I appreciate you again. Thank you.
Excellent, Ken. Excellent.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Any other? Did we have any other questions that we wanted to bring to Brother Unisa? And his information is in the chat, you all. And I think he's just doing some phenomenal things. And when I had the conversation, but then when I saw how you began your organization, it touched me. and to take what you do and the impacting the youth and the next generation, I think is a powerful tool, and that's why I think it's important that we do pour into them, so that they understand the voice that they do have. Because, like you said, by the age 7, a young man, um, you can kind of know what direction that he's going to go into. So it's important for organizations such as yours, organizations as BPM, that we do the work on the front end, so that we don't have to do the work on the back end, as Brother Troy was talking about, where we have 60, 70-year-old men still dealing with things that they've dealt with, that they had from their childhood or young adulthood and everything like that, and the impact, that you all are having. So I appreciate you coming. I appreciate Brother Troy coming and talking to us tonight, giving us the information, because we certainly want to be connected and stay connected to you and all that you're doing, because I believe that each organization, when we're connected like this, it makes all of us stronger, and it makes all of our communities even stronger as well, because they know that they have that village, as you and Kendrick talked about, surrounding them, that they can go to, whether they are 60, 70 years old, or whether they're 7 years old. There's all of that in between that can be dealt with, to assist us as men, to assist us as young men, in becoming men, and we don't have the tragedies that that you've experienced and that others have experienced. Because here in Baltimore, one of the biggest things, and you might not be familiar with this, Unisa, but we are, I forgot how many years this is now, but our murder rate is over 300, or our homicide rate is over 300 people killed in the city of Baltimore this right now, just this year. But like I said, over the past, at least I think 3 to 5 years, it's been over that 300 mark. I believe last year it was like 340, somewhere around there. And then this year, it might be, with the 20 some odd days left in this year, we might be hitting that mark again, which is unfortunate. Um, but that's where organizations such as BPM, that's where organizations like yours, the youth generation, helps to be able to curtail some of those, because the youth have somewhere to go and they don't wind up on the streets. Our dropout rate doesn't have to be anywhere towards 65, 70% for young Black men, which is what it is here in Baltimore City. And my thing has always been, if you have that dropout rate that's high, where are these young boys going? Where are they going? What are they doing? And keeping them off the streets, but also keeping their minds occupied and showing them that they can be entrepreneurs, that they can achieve and accomplish those big things. So I thank you for what you do. If one more time, if you can give your your contact information, your organization information, and then your meeting. I know you said it's the third Saturday of each month, and kind of where people can go to to find out more about that, more information about that.
Absolutely. If you go to www.kamarayouths.com, you register for, we have a newsletter that go out every first week of the month. It gives you all the information about our events, about the speakers that we have that get involved. We try to highlight people that are making a difference. And also, Leroy, I hope you know that you're going to be the next interviewee for our newsletter. So basically, we are quite, available every social media platform that you go to. Just type kamarayouths.com and we will come up. We just want, and we believe that if we all come together, we can make a greater impact. So it's www.kamarayouths.com, or you can go on my personal webpage, which is www.unisakamara.com. Now, the Kamara Youth's website, we're just changing it up a little bit, so please excuse us. And my website, I don't know, it crashed because we're adding too many videos up. But we're accessible. We're quite transparent. We try to show what we're doing. We want people to know that what we do, anyone and everyone can do. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And like I said, I know it's early, late there, so I know I know you gotta go. You had a long day and probably a early morning, so we appreciate you. Because let them know actually where you are and then actually what time it is there too. So
I'm in the UK, London, but I live on the outskirts of London. But the time now it's almost 12:30 a.m. But again, I never sleep. I have a life. I believe in my passion.
well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you being up late, staying with us. I know it's been a long day for you and everything like that. And I know you mentioned that you were at a leadership. Was it a leadership summit that you were at earlier today, too, as well?
I was. Sometimes my PA or my manager, I think they play games with me, so they overbook me just to see if I can handle the pressure. So I was actually booked for the Leadership Summit, which indeed I was a closure of it, but it's quite enjoyable, dealing with other leaders as well, seeing where their heads at and seeing where you're going wrong. Sometimes when you're supporting people, you're actually supporting yourself, due to the questions, due to the information that is conveyed onto you. So it's quite exciting. And being here, I was looking forward to being here more than I was over there. That's a shame, but don't tell nobody.
Well, I appreciate you coming and talking with us and telling us about your organization, what you do, what you're doing, the impact that you all are having, the state of manhood, which is very important. I know to you, but it's also important to BPM and what we do. And as we take this journey together as Black men, all of us, we as Troy said, better men make better men. So I appreciate you for making the youth better so that they can become better adult men. So I appreciate you. Want to thank you for taking time out, and we will see you and connect with you soon. All right.
Absolutely, gentlemen. It's a pleasure. Thank you all for having me, and looking forward to future endeavors.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, fellas, we're going to move right along quickly. Is Rashad still here? Are you still, Rashad, are you still here? Because I want to have you come and do the book review if you can, and then we'll go into our into the mastermind quickly as well, because we had a good meeting on Monday for those that weren't able to meet. Is that you, Rashad?
Yes, sir. Leroy, I'm here, bro.
Okay, cool. Did you want to do the book review and the book club session?
Yes, I did. So really quickly, I wanted to talk about what we're next up for January. The cool. January book is Relentless by Tim Grover. This book was chosen for anyone who we got about a month away. It's about a month away, so it gives folks enough time to pregame or get to. This is a great book to start the discussion or motivate folks to. The title of the book is said "Go from Good to Great to Unstoppable," and that's what we're trying to promote to our members, the community, and also any business owner. No matter what line of work you're in, this book should definitely resonate in your what you're doing day to day. So that's the reason why we've chosen this book, and look forward to seeing everyone on January 8th. The first is New Year's figure we give folks a break on New Year's Day, and we'll see them on the 8th of January at 10 a.m.
Cool, cool. Now, can you give the book and the author one more time so that people can write it down if they need to,
Sure.
and then have a way to look up.
Sure, and I'll put it in the chat in a second. It's called Resilient by Tim S. Grover. So, yep.
Cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. So,
not to interrupt.
No.
We gotta add some extras to this book. Gotta understand here that this book. This is the gentleman who is an elite trainer for people you may have heard of, such as Michael Jordan. He actually convinced Michael Jordan to be his trainer, and from that he went on to work with several elite athletes. He's like a go-to guy. So in between, let's say game 3 and game 4 of a star player is flat, they may take a private jet to meet with him and get the mindset to keep going. So this book is like a insight into what makes these guys, these elite athletes, tick. So it's that's what you're getting into when you participate in the book club.
Definitely, thanks.
I love that.
Yeah. This guy is the book is awesome. He's written 2 books, but this first book is awesome, in so many different ways. And so definitely it's one of those book club meetings you don't want to miss, because there will be a lot of great discussion, and hope to see everyone there.
Cool. I love that. So that's good.
What's the book for today? I mean, for this month?
Resilient by
No. I mean, that's the book that's for January, right?
Yeah, that's for January.
What was the book for December?
December was, give me a second. The December book was Dream Big, Bob Golf.
Dream Big, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. And these are great books that I think too, even if you weren't able to participate in the book club, I think it's great to have these books as a part of your library, whether it's a digital library or whether it's a physical library where you order the books and have them. They make great Christmas gifts too, or Kwanzaa gifts, you all. So you can pick these up for anyone, or you can, if you want a Christmas gift, this could be a Christmas gift that you have someone get for you. One of these books, trust me, I don't think you'll be disappointed at any of these books that are part of our book club list that we come out with and that we have discussions on, because I believe they all make us better. And what better book? That's a great book to start the year off with, Rashad, Resilient, and being able to get into the mindset of where you want to be and what you want to do for the upcoming year. So that's cool.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Hassan, did you want to since you did the mastermind on Monday, did you want to do that tonight as well? Did you want to kind of take over? Did you want to
Sure. I will do that. So the topic for the mastermind is, how can a business prepare to strive after the pandemic? And we want to be able to, so we're not talking about startup businesses. We're not talking about corporations. We're talking about those businesses that's already in existence, and they want to be able to move forward in 2022.
Say that topic again, please.
How to strive in 2020 or after the pandemic?
So one of the first things so should we start where should we start, Hassan, or how you want to do it?
I mean, everybody can kind of give their thoughts.
Gotcha. All right. So first, you must assess where you're at. It's like, if you're in the woods, you got to figure out compass. Use your compass and figure out where you're at, where you're trying to get to. So, in assessing where you are, that assessment will give you some good. It'll give you some good, and it should give you some bad, because no one's doing everything right. So an assessment will probably be one of the first steps.
Okay, so an assessment. So I know when we talked about it before, and we want to be mindful when we say these things. Like we use the analogy of baking a cake, right? So, we talked about, hey, you need to be able to make $1 million or make $100,000 in 2022, right? Everybody knows that, hey, if you get a cake, you can eat a cake, but not everybody knows how to make a cake. And so we want to try to take this opportunity to take those steps to how do you make that cake, right? Figuratively and literally, right? So, so we want to speak to how do you do the things that you're recommending, if that makes sense, Rashad.
Sure. As an accountant, for me, I take a look at what my numbers are, or any business owner, look at what your numbers are. Did you meet or exceed your goal for the year? If you met your goal, how much did you meet your goal by? Did you stick to your budget? Did you have a budget? How many employees do you have? Do you plan to have employees in the future? Basically, charting out that roadmap of where you are and where you're trying to get to. And so if you know where you are on this day of 2021, 2022, I got a good idea, or you should be able to not just visually, but also put it pen to paper and put it down to where we're trying to get to. If it's the 6 figures, the 7 figures, it don't come, as you said, it doesn't come from visualizing it. It comes from visualizing, but it also comes through a lot of action and interaction with others, like on an island. So we got to kind of get out of our own way and interact and be a part of, groups and do interactive things as well.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of Rashad about knowing where you were, and one of the key things, what went well and what didn't go well, and meaning what were your results that tell you what went well, what didn't go well, and figuring out what ways you can make those go better in 2022. That's what I would say.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Well, first, I would go back to Rashad, is knowing where you are. Like, what things did you do in 2021 that went well, that didn't go well? Now, how you judge well or not well is, did you quantify, did you put a goal of X amount of dollars this year? How close did you come to that? What activities did you do to get that? And which one of those activities were successful and which one was not? Do more of those that went well, remove those that didn't do well, and find some more that can go along and do better what you've done in 2021, which would W or 10x your growth in 2022.
Okay.
Can I add to what you said, what you just said, Everett?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I know one of the things that that I do, and I try to have my clients do with that, not only the reflection, but also what we used to have to do in the hospitality industry with the departments that I worked in. We had to do forecasting. We had to do exactly that, where we forecasted what we were expecting to do for that next year. We developed our budget, and we had what we call the forecasted numbers, and then we had the actual numbers. What we want to do, and then what we actually did. And we have to go back and look at those very numbers and see, like you just said, Everett, how were they off? Were they, did we kind of meet the expectations, like Rashad was saying as well, but also digging deeper too. If we didn't hit particular numbers, why was it? Was there something that was going on? Was there something that happened? Was it a particular project or something that we did, or that a product or service that we had that just didn't work? Like you were saying, Everett, that didn't work, that we thought, hey, maybe it didn't work because of this, or maybe it didn't work because of that. If we do some tweaking to it, maybe it could do better. Or if we just say, hey, you know what, that was a bad idea altogether. That just wasn't something we should have done. Doing those assessments, and I usually try and break my year up into quarters: first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. What did I do in the first? What do I want to do in the first quarter? Then you break that quarter down into months, because each month is going to be, each quarter is going to be the 3 months. So what did I do the first quarter? What did I do the second quarter? By then you're at the 6-month frame, and you can take a look back at, hey, I'm at the halfway point. Am I hitting where I'm projecting to be? And if I am, great. If I'm not, hey, there might be some things that had to be adjusted. Like last year, going into the pandemic, everybody had to make adjustments. That was just something that everybody had to adjust to, that you did not know was expecting or anything like that. So how do you adjust to that? And now what you're talking about, Hassan, now there has to be another adjustment coming, hopefully we're coming out of the pandemic. And by the mid 2022, that may be where we're actually out of it. People feel a lot more comfortable with their businesses, with with who they are, where they're gonna be, and looking at now, hey, how do I prepare for coming out of it and moving forward on that? Looking at the products that I offer. Are there things that I see coming up, might want to do in 2022 that I didn't do, that I can add to what it is that I do? Or are there things that, as I've said, need to expire at the end of 2021 and don't need to go with you into 2022? This is when you take that hard look in these last couple of weeks of going into 2022 and preparing, taking a hard look at the numbers, but also taking a hard look at the products and the services that you offer, and decide what stays, decide what goes, and you make your projections off of, kind of off of that's what I would say.
Okay. Who's who would like to go next?
I agree with everything everyone said. Yeah, I was going to say I agree with everything everyone said. I really like what you said, Leroy, as it relates to breaking things down to a smaller increment, because we need to be agile in business now. So much information, everything's moving so quickly. So contrary to having a plan and sticking to it, I think every plan should be a canvas. Not unless you're going for funding, right? So you have a plan, and which is a canvas, and that canvas should be adjusted based on input, new information that you get. So that's a critical component to success, because nowadays everything's a moving target. So we have to look at things with an agile mindset and plan with change in mind. So I really like that. It's a good conversation. Also with that, we have to, know what our acceptance criteria is. So what good would look like, right? Not just necessarily numbers or dollar amounts, but value that's giving to our clients, and such. So that's all I wanted to add.
Okay. Who's next?
I'll go. Can you restate the question, please?
So, what should a small business do to thrive after the pandemic?
Okay. There is no end to the pandemic. There is no end to it. Here's what I know. There will be some form of vaccine for the rest of our lives. Now, if we look at history, with 9/11, which we're all most likely adults when this happened, before 9/11, you used to be able to go into an airport and walk with your family all the way to the gate. We all remember this, right? But then after 9/11, it became profitable to, let's say, create TSA, Homeland Security, did not exist before these things. So the world in itself has permanently been changed. And so let's say if we wave the magic wand and let's say COVID is over, what we have to realize is that there will be at least 3 years before we will be able to have an event, and the anxiety around attending an event will be gone. If we as an organization, which has done somewhere close to 80 events per year, at one point, maybe 2018, 2017, was to roll out the event calendar, even our executive board and members would say, well, do I want to go out for our family? Because that hysteria through the media, so on and so forth, has been so strong. And so what I think is best for business owners to do is to get what I call war ready. And so the first thing you need to look at is your emergency fund, because this is Black professional men, right? And so the Black community has been decimated by COVID. I don't know if you guys have walked outside lately, but if you walk down certain streets in Baltimore, it's not going to go well for you if it's a little bit after 8, 9, or 10, because people are hungry and we're closer to, let's say, basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter are in danger. And so for business owners who sell services to people and consumers, even business owners, they're thinking on one hand, food, clothing, and shelter versus this product you may sell, which is a luxury. So you got to have other ways to make it work. So emergency fund is number one. Cash flow is number two. So relying on clients is shaky these days. So you need to have other ways, whether digital products, whether affiliate marketing, whether selling physical products as a vendor. Next, you need to have access to capital. So let's say within my particular office, one of the biggest challenges with PPP loans and otherwise is that our people don't fill out the applications properly. And so we need to make sure we're crossing those T's and dotting the I's. Also look into alternative forms of investing, such as cryptocurrency. Because nowadays it's like the Wild West, and we see lots of people being able to level up quickly. So I would look into looking to do business online. I would invest in a great website with e-commerce. I would productize my business, meaning determine what the most expensive problem I solve and creating digital products around that. Get your affairs in order. That means compliance. That means insurance. That means power of attorney. And not think that things are going to end, but realize that it is a $1 trillion industry. So that it's a vested interest in keeping things around. And what are you going to do in response to that?
Okay. Okay. I think that's a great insight. Anybody else would like to add to that?
I can go. So I love everything I heard. And so I think the SWOT analysis that we were hinting on is important. So identifying your strengths, your weaknesses, taking account of any opportunities you want to take account of, and then fighting off any threats. So the SWOT analysis will be first. I'm going to talk on a more technical piece. The 3 pillars of business is legitimacy, liquidity, and sustainability. You need all 3 of those to continue to grow and be successful. So I would, when you do your assessment with your SWOT analysis, that needs to be looked at hard. And so if you have liquid capital, you have access to capital, your business credit is great, then that's not what we want to work on during this season. If your legitimacy is intact, you got your accountant in place and you pay your taxes your property taxes, so you're still legit with the state, whatever state you're in, then that's not the focus during the pandemic. But the sustainability part, what problem you solve or the needs you satisfy may need to be tweaked during this time. And I think working on that and adding technology so it removes you. The answer to who don't have to be you, and the goal of entrepreneurship is to reach the finish line, which is not when you stop, but it's when your business runs without you having to oversee it and do stuff. And so anything, to me, to strive after the pandemic is basically heading towards the finish line, which is when your company runs without you having to oversee it.
Okay. Anybody else that would like to join in?
I think we've had some great suggestions tonight, Hassan. I mean, these are good stuff, and you can't have a voice. Your business can't have a voice if it's not open. So, and if it's not prepared.
This is true. This is true. So,
hey, Hassan, before you close out, one of the things too that I just wanted to share with the brothers and anyone listening is taking time away from your business. If you can, take a day or two out. If you can go away from the business, just take a day or two and just go brainstorm about some of the things we've discussed or talked about. Because it's definitely important to do that, especially during this month.
Yeah. So,
and if I could add one real quick note, everything we talked about has to do with moving information, and during our focusing on our core competencies, we also, to Rashad's point, we need to take a step back, because sometimes we have to slow down and speed up. We need to look at how we're moving information. And that's accounts receivable, accounts payable, how we're even communicating to our suspects, prospects, and potential clients. And so we need to build systems, or a system that, to Kendrick's point, that can do these things without us having to physically monitor them and do them ourselves. So there are systems out there. And a lot of brothers here at Black Professional Men are using Zoho. So shameless plug. So if you're not familiar with Zoho, you feel free to reach out to me or anyone that's currently using it to get more information on it.
Yeah. So I would say, there would be 3 things that I would recommend, right? One would be to benchmark other companies that are doing similar things, but don't look at what they're doing, look at what they have done and look at how they've done it. Second thing is, establish a list of alliances that you can form that can help you do more with less. And then the last thing is erase boundaries. So in order to be prepared for what happens next, you have to be willing to do whatever comes up. Now, yes, I'm not talking about moral boundaries or right or wrong. I'm just talking about fear of engaging in activities that may appear to be risky or, foreign to you, right? You want to erase those boundaries, and you can easily get to those places one step at a time, even the same way you get to places that you are familiar with, one step at a time. Yes, we know that when you go to a spot where you're familiar with, you may lose steps because you're so comfortable, you may, not forget how you got there. But regardless of that, you still got there one step at a time. So that would be what I would recommend.
That was superstars, man.
Those are
Cool. I'm just excited, y'all. I love being around y'all brothers.
What do we have next on the agenda?
Absolutely. Yeah, we just have if the committee report that we have, we can have a couple of those to do, and then if you want to close us out with your closing remarks, Hassan, that'd be great.
So we are forever expanding, forever evolving, right? So we had a meeting this week where we're going to be able to layer our scholarship program with the passport program. What does that mean? That means that our scholars will be able to get passports free of charge, and we'll be able to put them in position where they can earn funds through our entrepreneur program to fund a trip, to use the passport. We did get the license this month to kick off our after school program. So there's a lot of good things happening with that. One of the important things is that we're having elections next month. So as many of y'all may know, that my term is coming to the end of the road, and I'm excited, the direction the organization is going in. And, I'm excited how our executive team has prepared to move forth to the next chapter for the organization. And, I feel like the lifetime membership investment I have made into this organization has paid so many dividends that I'm just excited to see what things are to come. So you're not getting rid of me, but like I said, I'm just excited where the organization is heading, and the next chapters.
Yeah, that's 30 years to be in the business of ensuring the future of the African American male. I know BPM is looking forward to do 30 more and more and more. So we appreciate you, Hassan, and the part that you played in moving the organization from where it was when you first took over as president of the organization to where it is now, and then preparing it to move forward. Do we have any other of any other committee members that want to give their reports? I know, Rashad, I want you to talk about the our member dues and everything, because we don't want to have our meetings without mentioning that to the brothers and letting them know what's going on with that and what it actually goes for.
Sure. So for membership, there are two options. You can pay the $200 for annual dues, or you can raise, option B is you can raise 500 or more bucks through a number of different avenues, such as the IBA card, the BPM card, or bringing in donors to donate to BPM. So that's always options. We also have every member will likely receive an invoice. Some members have already received their invoices for the upcoming year. Just to so I begin reaching out to some folks to just say, hey, your dues are due. We did talk about a little bit earlier. We put a warning out there as there's a BPM grant, but in order to be eligible for the BPM grant, folks had to be dues paying members in good standing with the organization and active and participating. So that's definitely important, and the reason why we ask for folks to pay their dues so that they can take advantage of some of the opportunities that are that our members have that come up for our members.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just wanted
Brother
to add,
Shadid, did you?
I'm
Uh-oh.
I'm
Go ahead,
sorry. I
Everett.
just had one thing to add, Brother Rashad, if we could just add that thing about raising their money for their birthday, like we talked about the birthday,
Oh, yeah,
using your
definitely,
birthday,
definitely. Like,
raise money.
definitely, Brother Everett, you took advantage. You, Hassan, and a few others took advantage of Facebook advertisement of having folks donate to a charitable cause, which was BPM, so that you could use your birthday as a good opportunity to raise money for the organization, which also is a part of that option B, in which you're raising money for the organization, which in turn you're paying dues, and doing it for, and having folks contribute to a good cause, which is BPM. So definitely thanks for that reminder as well. And also things like Giving Tuesday, we just had Giving Tuesday about a week ago. So those are opportunities as well where folks have the opportunity to give to the organization on your behalf. So yeah.
I forgot one more other way. Using the Amazon
Smile program
as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, going in and designating BPM as the recipient of the Amazon Smile donation is also a great example as well.
Great ideas. Those are great ideas, gentlemen. Phenomenal ideas. How people can think outside the box. That 21st century way of thinking, of being able to be able to raise funds for the organization, and at the same time take care of your dues, which is important.
If I could, that it's simple math. If we have 100 members paying $200 for their dues, that's $20,000 for the organization, which means 50% goes to our scholarships. So it's immediate $10,000 that's going to our young kings that are graduating and continuing their education. So I just want to put that simple math out there that it's not hard work. If 100 members just raise their $500 without even touching their purse strings, that's still $50,000 that comes to the organization, where $25,000 goes directly towards scholarships.
Boom.
Math does not lie.
Absolutely. Shadid, did you have anything else that you wanted to add before we have our president close us out?
Really quickly on the partnership side, the food truck initiative, I received a call from a representative who will remain nameless. He's looking to gather the troops and relaunch the food truck initiatives and go through the partnership process. So be on the lookout for that. And special acknowledgement and congratulations to Brother Malone, who has taken his partnership with BPM to the next level in helping his business in partnership with UPS to do nationwide shipping. So big congratulations to him on following the process that was laid out. And now he's moving forward. So those are the latest updates on the partnership front.
Sounds good, Mr. President. You wanna close us out?
All right. Well, hey, like I said, I want to thank everybody from taking a moment to join us. Just a personal testimonial, right? I always speak about the process. I always remind people that the process is not always for me to create, but for me to follow, right? And so what does that mean? That means that, Troy laid out a framework to automate your processes, right? So I went ahead and got Zoho, and I went ahead and got an admin to program my Zoho. And what they are programming is that when we get an order in for a custom order or any kind of custom order, the order comes in, we're able to acknowledge it, right? And put in there any changes that we see we get from the customer. It immediately sends the customer a contract. When the customer signs the contract, it immediately sends them the invoice. When they sign the invoice, it immediately adds it to our calendar. Now, that is critical from the standpoint of sometimes we don't always have time to put things on the calendar or to send the invoice after we talk to the customer. So this automates all those things and eliminates the need for additional personnel to do these things. And it's all based off of a one-time investment that would just carry on and on. The second thing I wanted to mention is that, with this partnership with UPS, part of the deal is that they will connect you with businesses that are doing the same thing that you're doing. So what we are doing now is we are connecting with a local boxing company, right? So we're going to ship our cinnamon rolls nationwide. But that boxing company also deals with co-packers. And with the co-packers, their basic limit or, basic level for you can get into do co-packing is 50 units. Well, our first threshold is 250 packages per week. And so essentially, once we hit that threshold, we're able to immediately convert it over to automate it, which will reduce our human capital need. And it will be able to go from ordering off the website, going to UPS, going to the co-packer, leaving the co-packer, going to UPS, and shipping to the customer without us having to touch it. Those are just two things that has been the process of this great organization that, I've had the privilege of, using the discipline to follow. So I just wanted to kind of share that with everybody to remind everybody is that the process is not always made by an individual. It's also made through experiences and through, a group of great minds. And with that, I say good night.
Everybody, have a safe holiday, Christmas, Kwanzaa, and a safe new year. We appreciate everyone being a part of the general body meetings that we've had going into 2022. Just want to bring great content, information, knowledge, and resources that everyone can benefit from, that can grow from, and that these meetings are rich in making us better. Because it's always my goal in everything that I do to make people better. And I want us to be better as an organization, as individuals, after these meetings than we were before these meetings and coming to these meetings. So with that, I greet everyone. Yeah.
One more thing. If you want to save these chats, go to the bottom right and save them in your chat. Has all the information in from the people that had a talk with us today and any other information you need to have. Down the right bottom, you can save it. Those 3 dots. And say save chat. With that, thank you.
All right, everybody. Be safe. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next month. Have a great great holiday and New Year. We'll talk to y'all next month.
All right.
All right.